In today's video, we are talking about something that affects a lot of people, how to not stress about money. Money can be a huge stress for a lot of us, but the good news is there are strategies that we can use to help reduce or even get rid of that stress around money. In today's video, we are exploring some of those tips and strategies in order to reduce that stress. I know a lot of us have stress around money. It's understandable. There are debts that need to be paid off. There is retirement to work toward. All sorts of different things around money. And they can feel overwhelming at times, but let's talk about how to reduce that stress or that overwhelm around money. I'm going to share some tips and strategies that have worked for me and that I've seen work with other people. The first thing we want to do in order to not stress about money is realize that money is a tool, it is a resource. That's all money is. It's something that we can utilize to improve our lives, but we are the ones that attach any emotion to money. Money is not going to physically hurt us. It's not something that we can hurt. When we realize or acknowledge that money is just a tool, we do want to be respectful about money and realize that it can help us. So we don't want to have a negative attitude toward money. We want to have a positive attitude toward money, but realize that it's just a resource. It can be that tool for helping us to achieve our financial goals. It doesn't have to be a source of stress for us. Once I realize that money is just a tool, it's a resource, it's not something that controls us, we can control our money. That really helped to reduce anxiety that I had around money. The second thing we want to do in order to reduce our stress around money is to take a look at our money. We actually have to see how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, what debts we have, what investments we have, how much we have in our savings and our checking, all of those things. I know there are different money personalities out there, and one of them is avoidant. So we need to take that step of looking at our full financial picture, seeing where we are currently, and that way we can set some goals and map out a plan to progress, to become better with our money, which is drastically going to reduce our stress. If we are constantly thinking about money and stressing about it, but we aren't looking at our actual finances, then most likely we are going to have more anxiety. An easy way to do this is to set up a spending plan or a budget. Start writing down what your income is and where you're spending your money, all of your different expenses, and make a list of your debts and how much you have left to pay them off. And yes, it can sound overwhelming or scary, but honestly, once we take that first step and just see where we are, then we can progress, we can move forward, we can reduce that stress around money. Even if we have more debt than we thought we did, we now know exactly where we are with our financial picture and we can set some goals. But if we never do that, we are going to continue to stress about money. The way I like to set up my spending plan is by having a Google Sheet and also using a free app. It's called Empower. It used to be called Personal Capital. But it's an easy way to track my finances. I can hook all of my accounts to Empower, such as my checking, my savings, my mortgage, my credit cards, my retirement accounts, all of those things. And once I hook all of those accounts to Empower, I can see everything in one place. I can see exactly where I spent money recently and in the past. I can see exactly what my net worth is so that I can hopefully increase that over time. If that's something you're interested in, I will leave my referral link below in the description. You can click on that and set up a free Empower account and start looking at your money today. And this really doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. You can just start with the basics, right? What did you spend this past week? Did you receive a paycheck? Did you get money from a client? Just start where you are. Don't think you have to go over the past year and write down everything. That's going to feel very overwhelming. But if you can just start today and maybe look a week or so, maybe a month in the past, and then you can start to track where you're spending your money, how much is coming in, and make improvements along the way, because what gets tracked gets measured and gets improved. And I do want to say, when I had my 9-to-5 job, I was using my Google Sheet, or it was actually a spreadsheet that I was using, but I would just keep track of my money in that spreadsheet. And I was doing fine because I knew exactly what I was spending my money on. I knew how much was in my savings, how much was in my checking. And honestly, I didn't know when payday was. That wasn't what I was focused on. I just knew that that money would be deposited in my account. I had some auto payments set up. I just had my full financial picture laid out. I knew where my money was. So I wasn't so worried about payday when money was going to be deposited. And it was a really nice feeling to not be stressed about, oh, when is payday coming? It makes a really big difference on our financial life if we can keep an eye on our money, and especially in reducing that stress that we have around money. And then the third tip that I want to give you is to have a plan for your money. Wherever we are on our individual money paths, let's have a plan for the money that we are receiving. If we have debt to pay off, then let's make a plan to pay off that debt. If we don't have an emergency fund set up yet, then let's make a plan to get that emergency fund. If we haven't started investing yet, but we have our high interest debt paid off and we have our emergency fund, then let's start investing our money. And if you do want help investing your money in the stock market, I have a free masterclass about that. I will leave a link to that below in the description. You can click on the link and check out the free masterclass and get started investing so you can actually retire one day. Think about what financial goals you want to achieve and write them down. Make a plan for your money so that you can achieve those goals. That is going to reduce a lot of stress around money, because if we're just thinking, oh, I don't know what to do with this money that came in, or I don't know when I'm going to be able to pay off my debt so that I can invest. If we actually sit down and make a plan, set some financial goals on where we want to be, on what we want to do with our money, that is going to drastically reduce our stress around money. This has been a really helpful factor for me, setting financial goals. I wouldn't have been able to purchase 4 properties if I didn't set the financial goals to do that. I never would have become financially free if I didn't set that as a goal. And if you are feeling overwhelmed with what steps to take to achieve these goals, just think about, okay, if I want to become a millionaire, for example, think, what would a millionaire do? What would they do in my situation? If we have some debt, they would probably pay off that debt if it's high interest debt, right? They would get that paid off so then they could start making their money work for them and build up their net worth to millionaire status. And if we like to spend all of our money on clothing or going out to eat, a millionaire probably isn't going to do that. So we can think, all right, what are some character traits that a millionaire would do? They would probably not spend so much on clothes. They would maybe have a certain spending limit, a budget for clothing every single month that they could spend so that they would still have money to invest. That's just kind of an easy way to look at things. Just think, all right, someone that is ahead of me where I want to be, what step would they take next? And then you can take that step. The fourth thing that helped me not be so stressed about money, and this one is a pretty big one for a lot of people, this was to have an emergency fund. We know that emergencies are going to come up at any time, and we want to be ready for those emergencies. We don't want to be swiping that credit card, putting the emergency fund on that credit card and then paying interest, so it's even costing us more for that emergency. Determine an amount that you want to have in your emergency fund and work toward that. I personally like keeping my emergency fund in a high interest savings account. I use Ally. There are a lot of different banks out there that have a high interest savings account, so look for one of those, especially if your money is just going to be sitting in your savings for a long period of time. And if you're wondering how much you should keep in your savings, I personally like keeping as little as possible in my savings for my emergency fund. I do have another video explaining this, so I will leave a link to that above. You can check it out later on. The fifth thing that has helped me reduce stress around money is being a conscious spender, or just being more mindful about what I'm spending my money on. If we are spending our money more consciously on things that align with our values and our priorities and our financial goals, we are going to have a lot less stress around money. If we are always just impulsively buying things and swiping that credit card and racking up credit card debt, that is going to cause a lot of stress for us. So if we can just be more conscious when we are spending our money, that is going to be very helpful. We can just pause and take a second and think, all right, is this item, whatever I'm tempted to spend my money on, is this item going to help me get closer to my financial goals? Or is it going to take me further away? Or is it something that is going to bring me lasting joy? Or is it just kind of an instant gratification and I'll probably forget about it in a couple of weeks? So next time you are thinking about spending money on Amazon or at a clothing store or going out to eat, just pause and think, all right, let's be conscious about this purchase. Is this something that I really want that is going to bring me lasting happiness or take me closer to my financial goals? Or is it going to be the opposite and maybe I should not make that purchase? I know when I was purchasing one of my properties, I really tried to focus in on being more of a conscious spender because I wanted to save up for that down payment on my property. So when I was thinking about spending money, I would honestly think, okay, if I don't buy this, I can put an extra amount toward my down payment. So I didn't buy a lot of things that I was tempted to buy during that time. And the sixth thing that I want to bring up, we kind of already mentioned this, but we really want to be sure that we are paying down our high interest debt, that we are saving some of our money, and that we are investing our money. That debt can definitely be a major source of stress. We really want to get that taken care of. We want to set up a plan in order to pay off that high interest debt. And if you want more information about how to do that, I have another video for you. I will leave a link above. And then we also want to set up that emergency fund. We want to have some money in savings, or if we are saving up for something in particular, like a trip to Paris or to Italy or Israel, then we want to set money aside and have money in order to take that trip rather than swiping a credit card and paying interest and end up paying a lot more for that trip. And then of course we want to be investing our money. We want to make our money work for us so that we can eventually have the option to stop working for the money. And when we are focusing on these 3 different steps, we want to automate as much as possible. So if we already know which debt we want to pay down first, then we can automate that debt payment and we can make sure that we are adding extra to that debt payment each month automatically so that we don't have to think about that each month. And then if we are saving up for something like our emergency fund or somewhere that we want to travel to, we can definitely set an auto transfer from our checking directly to our savings so that we don't have to think about doing that every single month and end up spending all of the money in our checking account and realize that we didn't transfer over any money to our savings account. So try to automate that. And then of course with investing, we want to automate that as well. And if you want help doing that, definitely check out my free masterclass. I will leave that link below in the description. I know for me, I have done this with my investing. I created that auto transfer and it makes it very, very simple. I don't have to think about what I'm investing in. It's already automated and I don't have to log into my account and think, oh, is the price going to drop right after I buy it? It's strictly automated. I just dollar cost average. It makes things very, very simple and it gets done. And that is going to reduce our stress as well because we won't feel so overwhelmed with everything that we need to do with our money. We won't have to be logging into all of our accounts all of the time, making sure that our bills are paid, making sure that we have money in our savings, making sure that we are investing, right? If we can automate these things, it is going to take a lot of the stress away. And then the last item that I want to bring up is that you can get support where you need it. If you are struggling to follow through on financial goals or even just struggling to set up financial goals or set up a budget or a spending plan, you can definitely get support from someone. You can have an accountability partner. You can have a financial coach. You can share your goals on social media and have a lot of people hold you accountable. I have done all 3 of those things. I have a mastermind partner or an accountability partner that I talk with every week. I've also posted some goals online. I've also worked with different coaches. And one other way that I get support is also by praying. So that can be another option, or it could be through meditation. I know that's made a really big difference for me in definitely reducing my stress around money. So remember, you are not alone. You can get support in different ways. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information. And hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And if you want to see even more content from me, make sure and check out the videos on the side of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.